Does what we wear for synagogue matter? Does what we wear when we come together for communal prayer really make such a difference? This is a question that I get asked quite often, sometimes by people who are visiting the synagogue. They'd like to know, can I give them any guidance on their clothing choices? And sometimes, maybe from a more critical point of view, people will sometimes say, I can't believe so-and-so is wearing that. Is that really suitable to be worn whilst we're in the shul? These are just some of my own personal reflections, and I wanted to share them with you. I think that what we wear in synagogue reflects a broader tension in society. The tension really is between the personal and the communal. So on the one hand, we are individuals. And likewise, when we come to synagogue, we come as an individual. We may well come because we want to pray, and that prayer is going to be exceptionally personal to us. And our clothing choices, which will be individual and unique, may reflect that we are unique. On the other hand, we're also part of wider society, part of a community. When we come to synagogue, that's communal prayer. We don't just come to pray by ourselves, sitting in our own little corner in the building. No, we come together as a group to pray collectively. And in that sense, we want to show, or feel at least, a larger sense of unity. And I think this is where this tension comes in particular today, where I think there is much more emphasis on individualness than maybe there was in generations past. And so I think what often happens when there's a bit of a tension, when there's a bit of an uncertainty, it's how much of my personal individual self am I expressing through my clothing versus how much of being part of the wider community am I displaying. I don't think that there's a simple answer to this. Fundamentally, synagogues should be inclusive spaces. I want people to be able to turn up to the synagogue and not feel that what they're wearing is a boundary to coming and joining and being part of the community. So my first point is broadly, people should just come to synagogue almost whatever they're wearing. I think there are some red lines, things that will be particularly offensive, but I think actually people can use their common sense most of the time and will be able to work out where those boundaries are. Broadly speaking, I would say if it's not suitable to wear, if you're, going to a park where there's a playground, it's probably not going to be suitable to wear in the synagogue. But I think actually a little bit of almost intentional ambiguity is healthy when it comes to the clothing, because I don't think it's good for us to be too prescriptive. On the other hand, I do think that what we wear does indicate not just to other people, but also to ourselves about what we think is important and what we think is meaningful. When you visit a synagogue, you're usually visiting either for the regular prayer services, or you're visiting to mark a celebration, or maybe, unfortunately, something connected to end of life. But either way, those are important moments. And I think it's good in our clothing choices to reflect that as well. And there's something very special when you come together with lots of people and you can see, even just visually through their clothing, that this isn't just a regular everyday thing that they do. They understand that this is something which is special and that matters as well. So I think the challenge for us is to find that balance of individual expression with also communal unity as well. So I leave that as an open-ended kind of series of questions. And of course, interested to know, what do you usually wear when you go to synagogue?